Hello, Aries. Thank you for tuning into your love read. For the main read, I'm using the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, illustrated by Mark Evans. And for the supportive oracle cards, I'm using the Angel Answers oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Okay. First half will be relationship. Second half will be singles for Aries. And I'm only going to put out the oracle cards as they seem to be pulled or necessary. You first? Yes, okay. Now we got an upside down card. And to be honest, the card that came out upside down is a good card to have upside down, so not bad there. Let me stop. Nope, they're saying no. Okay. So, and that could change when we get to the end. Maybe if we need an oracle card or two, we'll pop that out. But for right now, this is pulling my attention first. And this seems to be where you're standing right now. You've got Five of Swords reversed. I feel like you're biting your tongue. You're not saying something. I feel like you might be looking at it like you're agitated. And you're just like, you know what, I don't really need to just say something because I'm agitated. It's one thing if there's something to fix. It's one thing if something's going wrong and you feel like something needs to be said or it's just going to get worse as it goes forward. That's one thing. But the reason I feel like you're biting your tongue is because I feel like you might have a little bit of an agitated feeling going on. And you just rather bite your tongue than create needless problems. Because there's nothing you really need to say that you haven't said. And you may have been conveying some feelings recently, but you're just not going to beat it to death if that's what's going on. You don't need to say something because I feel like you are agitated about. I feel like there's an agitated energy here, honestly, but you're not saying what you're feeling, basically because you're not seeing any benefit from it. All right, so that seems to be where you're standing. Now, your partner. And I feel like this might be why. Your partner seems to be the Seven of Cups, which in this sense, I feel like it's a dreamy atmosphere. There's different ways I personally see this card, depending on the ones around it. And I'm feeling like the reason there might be some agitation here is because your partner may be having a lot of thoughts, a lot of excitement about different ideas. You're not really seeing anything come of those, but you don't see the need to pop the balloon about the situation either. You're just like, you know what? They do this, it's fine. It's not. You just don't have any faith it's going to go anywhere, and you're just like, if they just want to talk and think and dream, that's fine. But you're looking at it like it's just a complete dream anyway, and it might be. It very well might be. So that seems to be where each of you are standing. The thing is, I feel like some of these ideas your partner has, you like. It's just you don't feel like it's going to happen. I feel like that's the agitation. You like some of these ideas. You're just like, it sounds good, but until I see something happen, I'm not going to get all upset about it. Now, what is going on here next? Yes. What's keeping the situation where it is your partner seems to have the Chariot going on their side. You have the Emperor. And when I see the Emperor for you, you're kind of sitting there waiting to see what actually comes of the situation. Especially with the Emperor in this situation, you're waiting, and if something really does start, you'll help. You're for it. That's fine. Again, there are things here where you also think some of these ideas are good. I just don't feel like you believe that they're going to make it that far. So you're holding to the side. You're waiting to see what your partner does. What they actually start doing, what they actually seem like they're going to follow through on. And once that happens, you'll join in. You'll help. You have no problem with that. But until you actually see something manifest from what they're thinking, because it seems like they're a little scattered, you're kind of waiting to the side. So that seems to be holding the situation where it is. They do seem to have the Chariot energy in the sense of they're trying to get something started, but there may be too many avenues going on, and I feel like they might be doing little starts of this, that, and the other thing, but nothing is really starting to take hold yet. And that's one of the reasons you're kind of sitting back, is because you see them moving in a lot of different directions, but nothing is taking hold yet. Nothing that you feel is taken hold yet. A lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration, seems fairly motivated, but not focused enough to make something happen yet. But again, you are sitting to the side. You're like, once it feels like something is kind of like grounded and taken root, you're all for it. Sure, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So seems to be where we're starting. Now, is this the past? Is this the past? This is the past. All right. With these readings, sometimes where I start off with is where it currently is, and then it gives more information about that. Sometimes they start to talk about the past and where things have grown from. Now, I feel like this is what's going on in the past, and this is defining why you're feeling the way you are right now. In the past, your partner has also been very inspired, and like I feel like they've gone through details about certain things. I feel like there's been a couple different ideas they've had in the past. I feel like you've worked through this before. You've helped them choose a direction, and you've tried to make something happen. I just don't feel like it worked out. In the sense of like either they kind of lost interest and it just became your thing, or it became something that they weren't as interested in as they thought they were. I just feel like it didn't match up like you thought it would. Like they had a couple ideas, you helped them develop. Like I feel like you went through these ideas with them. You told them what you were interested in. So you went to get forward together on something, and you really made something happen. And it seemed like you took it over at some point. And you don't like that you ended up taking it over. So it became more of your thing than their thing, and I don't feel like you liked that. So if this is hitting for you, I feel like this is why you're kind of sitting to the side now, because this has kind of come around before. You've worked with your partner, you agreed on a direction, and you ended up like taking it over and just doing it like it became your thing instead of their thing. And mostly because you seem to have more passion about it than they did, even though it was originally their idea. They seem to kind of fall to the wayside about it. And when you're looking at the past of this, you're just like, you know what? I'd rather them choose something they want to do. And I feel like you're looking at it in the sense of like, if they choose something and they have the passion for it to move forward, and they're going to remain in control of it and keep that passion, you want to support, but you don't want to usurp it and take it over yourself. You're not into that at all. You want to support, but you don't want to be the leader for one of their ideas. Like if that's what they want to do, you'll support them. You don't want to end up taking it over, and that's what you're worried about, that they're not as interested as they think they are, or that it's a fleeting interest. Even though some of them you do like, again, I still feel this. There are a couple pieces of it you do like, and you would like to go forward on it. It's just the way it's coming across and how they're mulling it through. Part of you is wondering if last time the reason you ended up taking the whole thing over is because where you actually ended up, what you guys chose together, was more what you wanted and less what they wanted. And they just kind of went along with it. And you don't want that to happen again. So you want them to figure it out. What do they want to do? As they move forward and they have some stable direction, you'll support, but you don't want to take control. Correct? Okay. So I don't feel like this is a bad reason you're holding back. You just, due to the history of it, it just didn't work out last time. Now as we go into the future, are we going here? No, not going into the future yet? Or are we? I'm going to pick it up because it seems like the energy is kind of doing a weird thing here. I don't know if we're skipping ahead from the spiritual spot here, but we'll talk about where it's going. Your partner, 5 of Cups. It just doesn't work out the way they thought it would. You, the 6 of Swords. You're just dropping it and moving on. They had all these ideas. Nothing really took hold. Nothing took hold. And you're just not harping on it. You're just moving on from it. I don't feel like you're making an issue of it at all. that seems to where the way this is going naturally with your partner, waiting for your partner to kind of pick a direction and go forward. I feel like that just things, they're more, I don't know, it just kind of seems to fall apart and they just can't seem to make a decision and they seem to be left a little exposed and they just kind of like don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. And you just, instead of like getting in there and trying to get something going, you're just kind of like letting it go. Because again, I feel like you're worried that like, if you get in there and try to get something going, it's going to end up being yours more than theirs anyway, and there's really no point to that. What is going on? Like, where does this match up with? Like, you're going into that? I'm getting, again, with with your partner, they have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of ideas. And I feel like what we're saying here with this, because this seems to be coming through different than I'm really used to talking about this position. This is what helps. But I feel like this is saying something that can happen if you want to make this easier on you and your partner. I feel like you can communicate with them, but I'm noticing this is the Page of Swords, and they have the Nine of Cups. Like this, the Nine of Cups is somebody looking over what they have and being very happy and feeling accomplished. The Page of Swords is a supportive communicator. Somebody who can be they can initiate communication to a point. They won't initiate a subject, but if they know something is happening and they know a certain subject is around, they might start the conversation about the subject, but they won't really lead the subject, if that makes sense. And I feel like you can get this conversation started with your partner. What are they thinking? What do they want to do? And you can kind of dig a little deeper to what they really like and what they want. I figure you can help them figure out what do they really want to do anything right now. Because I feel like the final answer here is that they really don't want to start anything right now. They're just kind of going through the ideas. And I feel like if you talk with them and go through all these ideas with them, just allow them to like vent it out a little bit, I feel like they're going to realize that they don't really want, like they're happy where they are. They don't want to tie their time up with other things right now. I feel like that can help. This doesn't seem like it's going to happen unless you initiate conversation. Because the way it's feeling right now, it feels like you're not really looking to do that. But I feel like you can find a way to initiate conversation without directing the conversation. Like by asking questions, what are you thinking about this? What do you like about that? What do you feel about the time that's going to take? What do you feel about the other resources that's going to take? Like especially time seems to be a factor. Like how much time do you want to give to this? And I feel like that will kind of cement it in to like maybe they don't want to start something right now. And I feel like you might be able to like bring that to the forefront that, you know what, maybe you don't really want to start something right now. Maybe you're happy with what you have. Ah, okay. That moves the Wheel of Fortune, I feel, in both your benefits. Because I don't really feel like it's time for anything to start. The Wheel of Fortune, because it's on your partner side, it's letting something go by because you don't want it to take up your time is okay. Sometimes the opportunity is by not taking an opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity is just like, hey, opportunity for time for yourself, enjoying what you have. I feel like when the wheel goes in your partner's favor, it's kind of like you pointing out everything they already have. Like, do you really want to add more responsibility to that? And this is like the wheel going in their favor, saying like you already have things. You have a lot of things that you're going for you. You don't have to add anything else to burden this if you don't want to. Because you notice there's a wheel in the center of the Wheel of the Year here. Is it the Wheel of the Year? Yeah, it's the Wheel of the Year in this. That's talking about, this is more talking about cycles. When I look at this one, I usually think of it as cycles rather than like luck turning for or against somebody. And then when you have your card on your spiritual side, it's the Ace of Pentacles, which is also right in the center. It looks like a different type of wheel, but it's still a wheel nonetheless, in my opinion. So it's almost like it's superimposing on each other. You know, you're both kind of in the same mindset, but you're kind of like saying, you know, what we already have, where we already are, isn't that kind of good? Like, maybe we should just enjoy it for this season. And I feel like your partner might agree with that. Like, you know what, let's just enjoy the season as it is. We don't really need to start something new right now. I wondered where these cards were going to pop in because it didn't feel like they were. I was trying to go to them before I got to the end, and I couldn't really connect to them. But I guess that explains why. It just wasn't the time for them to start pulling in. So for all this going on, and all these ideas, I feel like you're holding back for good reason. You want your partner to figure out what they want. But I'm also seeing if you really want this to be a lot easier for you and them, you initiating conversation, getting them to understand what they want, and like pushing forth like how much time is this going to have? Do you want this time to be spent on this new venture, or do you want to use this time for something else we could do at this time? And I feel like as you mull this through, you'll show them, or they'll see for themselves, I should say, they don't really want to start something else. While they do have the Chariot energy here, maybe there's something else they can do with this. I feel like it's just the energy. And there's other things already going that they could invest that in better, that would serve you both a lot better. I feel like in the long run, I don't see like anything starting for them anyway. So it's either by facing it or just kind of by default. But by facing it, I feel like it feels a lot better for your partner. They're a lot happier. If it just kind of mulls out on its own, I just feel like they're going to have a sad moment. They're going to feel kind of defeated, if you will, temporarily, but it's going to be kind of a defeated feeling. And I don't feel like that's really what you're looking for with your partner. You'll be fine either way, but I just feel it would be easier for them if you're able to initiate this conversation. Okay, I'm going to let that go. Let's go on to Aries singles. Got the Death and Temperance card at the bottom there, so a lot of patience going on here. Now I'm not really sure if that's going to connect to this next part, but we'll find out in a minute. Alright, so Aries single Aries. Messages, empowering messages for single Aries to help them move forward the way they want to move forward. Some energy already pushing cards out. Alright, let's see, what do we have? Is this good? Alright, they tell me keep going, so I'm seeing these first two cards and I'm just like, that doesn't look fun, but well, I should say, like, you're alright. I feel like you're alright, but there's an energy going on here, that's for sure. Let's see what's going on here. So what I mean by there's an energy going on here, there's a couple cards in the deck, very few, that I'm just like, usually finding a positive spin to them isn't the easiest thing to do. And naturally, you don't want to negate a message just because you want to find like a happy way to put it. So you still have to be honest about it either way. And this is one of those cards. This isn't the environment. This is the shadow side. This is the devil card in most decks. I'm kind of getting, somebody's going through some stuff. Somebody's having issues. Somebody around you is really having some issues. There's problems. There's definite problems here. Because it's a general read, I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs and possibilities, but you're looking at this person, you know they have problems. It's not a question. You know that they have problems. Serious problems that you don't want to be a part of. Now, I'm also seeing the Ace of Pentacles as the root of this situation. This is not new. This has been going on for a while, still going on, and I feel like the way you're looking at it, you're realizing this isn't changing. You might be finally coming to that point right now where you're realizing this isn't going to change. Correct? Partly. What else are we seeing here? You might have some more information coming to you. I feel like this is kind of like a bundle of sticks, or like wood, like being stacked. Like as time has been going on, like you get one stick and then another and like you have 50 all of a sudden. At this point, like I feel like you're like, oh my god, there's 56 here. Like what is going on? I feel like that's where you are right now. You're realizing like this has been going on for a while and it just gets heavier and heavier, and it doesn't look like this load is going to get released at any time. In fact, it looks like it's probably going to get heavier. So this is the point where this is all grounded in. In the past, you've been overcoming things. I feel like you've been kind of keeping your distance from the situation, but still trying to stay involved. Still, I feel in the beginning, in the past at least, there was at least a point where you were like, you know what, I'll just hold to the side and let things calm down. I feel like you were like holding to the side thinking, you know what, things are a little rough right now, but when they calm down, maybe I'll see if there's anything here. Because this is for a single Aries. So that somebody you're interested in, you just thought, maybe it's just hectic now. And I give it some time, it'll calm down, and then, we can get a little closer later. Thing is, it's just not calming down. And you're starting to realize that this person that's just their life. That also being said, even though you're attracted, you're just like, I don't want that life. I don't want to be a part of that. The thing is, but you do feel for this person. I feel like it's hard. Because you got the Ten of Swords with the Eight of Swords. There's really nothing you can do to change their circumstances. And you're feeling the Ten of Swords because you really do like this person, and you would like this to be different. I feel like the Ten of Swords is seeing it for what it really is, and realizing, you know what? This just isn't going to work. It's just not. I don't want a life like that. I don't want to live like that, and I'm realizing that this is how this person's life always is. I don't want to do that. And it's not bad, it's just you realize that it would just make you very unhappy, and it's just not something you want to be involved with. Because you're at this in the middle here, you're right at this point where you're realizing what it truly is and how it's not changing. Your overall energy is the world, is the end of a cycle. I feel like you're letting it go. I feel like you've given it a shot, you've delved into it, you've waited, you've given it fair thought. But the world is here saying that, you know what? It's time to let things go. It's time to move on to the next. I'm noticing here with this card, you have the green man's face in the center. Which a lot of times for me is like regeneration and growth, surviving cycles, things like that. And I feel like you're looking at the situation like, you know what? Maybe this isn't working out for me, but you know what? There's opportunities elsewhere. And if this isn't the type of life I want, then I need to let this go and I need to move on. And that's weird, but that feels like what you're doing. Ironically, this Five of Swords decided to come up upside down for you as well, as it did for Aries in the relationships. You're just like, peace out. You're not getting involved. But I do feel like you're moving on. I don't feel like there's any type of conversation. But I do feel you're distancing yourself from this person, and you just kind of might quietly go into the night, and just kind of disappear. I don't really know if you were really that tight with this person to begin with, but whatever connections you had with this person, I just feel like you're just quietly going off into the night. I don't feel like you want to make a big deal about it, so you're just kind of like letting it fall to the wayside and moving on. Because there's really because I almost feel like bringing something forward isn't going to help make them happy, and it's not going to make you happy, so why do that? Alright. Knight of Wands and the Hermit. You've been doing a lot of introspection on this. I feel like we already talked about that. That's your thoughts. So I feel like we've already talked about that. You've already looked through this. You've already gave it thought. Fair thought. Knight of Wands. You're moving on. You're done. You're done. You're standing there. I feel like that's where you are now. You're thinking like, the situation, it's been the same. It's not changing. It's time for me to go. And you're making that decision and you're acting on it. That's where you're standing though. So like, at this point you're looking in that direction. But I feel you're kind of doing that. And to me it feels like a nice thing, because I don't feel like you want to make it an issue, and there's no reason to. It's not going to make them happy. It's not going to make you happy to be like, you know what? Your life's a train wreck. Bye. Like, I don't feel like, why would you do that to somebody? Like, I feel like that's how it's coming across. Why would you do that to somebody? I think I kind of said that a little harshly. I apologize. I just realized what I said. That was kind of rotten. Sorry. Knight of Cups in your final card. You're going to be happy that you did. You're moving on from it, and I feel like you move on from this a lot easier than you expected to. You're going to be thankful that you did move on from it, because you're going to see in the future things are still happening with this person. That's just their life. It seems to be their life. I feel like things don't get better in that situation. It's just like things happen and more things happen and more problems. There's just a lot of problems there, and you just don't want to be a part of it. I feel really bad that I said that train wreck thing. I hope that's really not how that person's life is, but whoever it is that you're centered on, it seems like that's how it's viewed from your side. And it might be something that they're used to how their life is, and to them it's not. But the way you're looking at it, it's a lot of discord and conflict and problems, and constant problems. I feel like there's a lot of different angles for problems too. It just seems like there's a lot of different ways things are not good, and you don't want to be a part of that. I'm almost feeling like for some of you are interested in somebody who's into drugs or something like that, and it just really, it's a bad addiction that they need to conquer themselves before they can get involved in anybody else's life. And I feel like you're viewing it like that, like you can't save them, they have to save themselves. And it's not like, and like you would, like they need to search that out and want to, and I feel like that's how you're looking at it, because I don't feel like where they are right now, they're not looking to fix anything. They feel like they're fine, and you're looking at it from a different angle, like, no, that's a problem, and I don't want to be a part of that. So I don't want to make light of that person, because I don't feel like that's fair that I said train wreck. I think that was wrong of me to say, but they're going through things, and I don't think they view it the way you view it, but it's definitely something you've decided to move on from, and I feel like in the long run, it's what's right for you. Because if you're not really interested and you don't want to be involved in that, it's best to not get involved at all. Correct? Okay. All right, let's wrap that up there. So I hope that helped. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead and shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you.